Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk story for today is smartwatches. A new day is dawning. Yes, a new day in smartwatches is dawning, both in iOS and Android. Smartwatches are multifunction wearables that have sensors for measuring body information that's mostly related to health and sleep, but typically have other capabilities as well. Dieter Bohn at �𝐼𝐍𝐅𝐒 says it's tempting to treat smartwatches as medical devices and diagnostic tools, but they're not ready for that yet. And I remind you, nor are these devices FDA approved. However, the electrocardiogram function on a few smartwatches has received FDA approval. Currently, the top-selling smartwatches with ECG electrocardiogram approval by the FDA are the Apple Watch Series 6, Fitbit Sense, and Galaxy Watch 3. FDA approval of the newly released Galaxy Watch 4 is pending and expected soon. That other sleep and health functions of smartwatches don't have FDA approval is by no means an indication that they aren't valuable to wearers. Functions like the number of steps walked, heart rate, and blood oxygen saturation may each have value to users so long as they accept the readings as approximate and keep everything in perspective. Without question, the current and very popular Apple Watch Series 6 is the elephant in the room in smartwatches. Alex Allegro at PocketLint.com reports that a newly revised Apple Watch Series 7 will be released as early as the middle of September. It'll be the first major redesign since Apple released its first smartwatch, that was Series 4, and rumors are now buzzing everywhere about how fantastic it's going to be. We had lunch recently with an older lady who was wearing an Apple Watch Series 5. I asked her what she values most about her Apple Watch. There was no hesitation. She replied, "It's the fall detection." She hasn't been well, and I know she appreciates that. Though I'm an Android guy, I was absolutely blown away by the Apple Watch's sophisticated and comprehensive fall detection capabilities. For example, it will sound an alarm, and if you're alert, present you with several options. If you're not able to respond, it will contact your iPhone to call emergency services. I'm happy to say that Galaxy Watch 4 will have fall detection as well. Little information has been released so far, but you may expect that it'll have a fall detection accelerometer sensor and app at least as good as its very lauded predecessor, the Galaxy Watch 3. Brian Heater at TechCrunch.com said last Friday, just 3 days ago, that the recently released Galaxy Watch 4 is one of the few smartwatches that can truly go head-to-head with the Apple Watch 6. Like Apple is tied to the iPhone, the Watch 4 is explicitly tied to the Samsung ecosystem. It's not only the best smartwatch for Samsung users, but there's a case to be made for also being the best Android-compatible smartwatch, period, says Brian. His perspective on the Watch 4, in my opinion, absolutely hits the proverbial nail on the head based on everything I've learned to date. On August 11th, when Samsung introduced the Galaxy Watch 4, it was accompanied by a glowingly descriptive article, the title of which was Galaxy Watch 4 and Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, Reshaping the Smartwatch Experience. Reading the article transported me to the proverbial cloud nine, especially since I had just ordered my new Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. By the way, I ordered a red band because my car is red also. Kind of goofy, I suppose. When I reached the end of this 3-page article by Samsung, I found nearly 2 pages of what I call CYA endnotes, boilerplate. I became frustrated with going back and forth trying to correlate bits of text with its endnote, so I ended up copy-pasting each endnote into the text where it belonged. This produced a very interesting document, which I'd like to share parts of with you now. Won't read you the whole thing. Remember, this is Samsung's text with the endnotes, which I inserted, and highlighted. Here we go. Galaxy Watch 4 is equipped with Samsung's bioactive sensor, a 3-in-1 sensor with a single chip to precisely run 3 powerful health sensors: optical rate, electrical heart, and bioelectrical impedance analysis, so users can monitor their blood pressure. App availability may vary at launch and may vary by market, operator, or device. Subscription fees may apply for some apps. Detect an AFib irregular heartbeat. App availability may vary at launch and may vary by market, operator, or device. Subscription fees may apply for some apps. Measure their blood level. The blood oxygen sensor SpO2 feature is not intended for use in the diagnosis of disease or other conditions, or in the cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease. Availability of this feature may vary by market. And for the first time, calculate their body composition. Intended for general wellness and fitness purposes only, not intended for use in detection, diagnosis, or treatment of any medical condition or disease. The measurements are for the user's personal preference only. Our new body composition measurement tool gives users a deeper understanding of their general health and fitness, with key measurements like skeletal muscle, basal metabolic rate, body water, and body fat percentage. In about 15 seconds, your watch's sensor will capture 2,400 data points. The Galaxy Watch series offers our most complete picture of your sleep patterns yet. Intended for general wellness and fitness purposes only, not intended for use in detection, diagnosis, or treatment of any medical condition or disease. The measurements are for the user's personal reference only. Please consult a medical professional for advice. Requires Samsung Health app version 6.18 to view history. Your compatible smartphone detects the sound of your snores. To record your snoring, wear your watch while you sleep and place your phone on a stable surface near your head, such as a nightstand, with the bottom of the phone pointed towards you, while your smartwatch measures your blood oxygen level when you sleep. The blood oxygen SpO2 feature is not intended for use in the diagnosis of disease or other conditions, or in the cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease. Availability of this feature may vary by market. With Samsung's brand new One UI watch and Wear OS powered by Samsung, we've made the smartwatch and Galaxy experience even more seamless. With One UI watch, compatible apps are automatically installed on your watch when downloaded on your phone. Limited to watch-compatible apps downloaded via Google Play Store. Available after connecting your watch to a smartphone. Requires the latest version of Google Play Store on your connected device. Built by Samsung and Google, Wear OS lets you tap into an expansive ecosystem right from your wrist, with popular Google apps like Google Maps and beloved Galaxy services. Availability may vary by market, operator, or device. Galaxy Watch 4 boasts the first 5-nanometer processor in the Galaxy Watch, with a 20% faster CPU and 50% more RAM. Samsung's eSIM technology enables users to leave their phone behind, knowing their smartwatch will automatically sync up and fill the gap. LTE Watch 4 series only models. Standalone voice calling and text messaging requires initial pairing with an eligible Android 6.0 or later smartphone with qualifying plan. Please check your smartphone carrier regarding qualifying plans. Standalone functionality limited if paired phone is not powered on or connected to a wireless network. A reliable battery is essential to a smartwatch. A Watch 4 series smartwatch can have up to 40 hours of battery life. Actual battery life may vary and depend on usage conditions such as function settings, playback file type, and Bluetooth signal strength. And when you need more juice quickly, 30 minutes of charging provides up to 10 hours of battery. Now this ends the excerpts from the Samsung article. The new Galaxy Watch 4 Classic I pre-ordered is expected to arrive in about a week. And I admit to being really pumped about it. Like most people, I'm very proactive about my health and believe this extraordinary instrument will prove to be valuable in helping me maintain my presently good health. You may recall that I had a stroke nearly 4 months ago. I thank God that my recovery since has been nothing short of a miracle. I still have physical deficits, but feel this 87-year-old kid still has some good years left. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today. And God knows I'm sticking with it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and the good Lord willing, we'll see you next week.
Podcasts, the series. This is part 1. What is a podcast? I'm Hewie Poplock. This is part 1 of the series. Part 2 and part 3 will be over the next several weeks. So, what is a podcast? A podcast is an audio program, just like talk radio, but you subscribe to it on your smartphone and listen to it whenever you like. A podcast is a series of spoken word, audio episodes, all focused on a particular topic or theme, like technology, cycling, or startups. You can subscribe to the show using an app on your phone and listen to the episodes whenever you like on your headphones, in your car, or through speakers. If you're new to this, it can be easier to understand if you look at how radio or TV personalities are turning their shows into podcasts. But remember, podcasts have gone way beyond radio. You'll find out more about that in a minute. So if you're a fan of a personality, you can subscribe to the podcast and episodes that are delivered to you each week. That means you can listen to them anytime rather than be stuck to the radio or TV at the same time each week. Many escape the shackles of traditional radio formats to explore brilliantly original approaches and completely niche subjects. For example, they can be any length, from 1 minute news snippet to a 3-hour in-depth interview. They can be any frequency, from daily to monthly. They can be any format, from simple solo shows up to a mammoth multi-person audio drama. They can cover any topic, many of which would never make it onto radio. No matter what you're into, you'll find a show that suits the topics you love and the time that you have. This is from the iHeartRadio listing of podcasts. So if you're into politics, you can listen to the left or you can listen to the right, whatever your choice is. Or if you follow entertainment, it can be anything from Dr. Oz to some technology stuff, to the humor of the Ron Burgundy podcast, to On Air with Ryan Seacrest, or Nikki Glasser podcast, and even questions and answers from Minnie Driver. Here are the top 20 podcasts from July of this year. The Daily from the New York Times is ranked number 1. You'll notice that there are several coming from the NPR, or National Public Radio. The publisher doesn't always matter when it comes to where you listen to the podcasts. Many of these are on several podcast applications, and you can subscribe to them on any of the various programs. Most podcasts today are audio only, even though video podcasts do exist. Podcasting has really grown out of the need for background content. That means something that can entertain you, educate you, or inspire you in the background of other boring or rote activities. For example, one of the most common ways people listen is in the car. You can't watch video there, of course, so audio content is great. In the same way, podcasts are great for listening at the gym while you're mowing the lawn or on your journey to work. Any moment of wasted time can be a moment for audio. You'll see the Amazon device on the dashboard, and that's how I listen to podcasts. That's one of the ways I listen to podcasts. Of course, that means you need something to listen on, so you might need to get yourself a set of headphones to connect to your smartphone. Otherwise, connect up to your car via Bluetooth, or start listening on the Amazon device or other smart speakers. When you listen to a podcast, you'll discover that many of them are quite familiar. You'll have heard similar types of content over the years, from radio to a TV talk show. On the other hand, you'll also hear podcasts that are completely new and entirely different to the norm, thanks to the freedom that podcasting allows. Most podcasts will be themed around one particular topic. The host or hosts will talk about that topic on every episode. Sometimes it's really specific. Here are the topics on the 𝐓𝐅𝐒 podcast lists. Each episode is normally run by one or two regular presenters talking about that subject, and they'll often get outside guests on to contribute or to be interviewed. A lot of podcasts are really simple, just a few friends chatting about something they're all really passionate about, like movies, knitting, or running a business. But some are really polished and super professional, including theme music, sound effects, and professional editing and more. The more professional podcasts are great to listen to, but they take a lot more time and money to produce. The amateur shows, on the other hand, might have a few rough edges, but it means they can get it out every single week and grow a loyal following. Most people listen to a bit of both types. The biggest factor in most podcasts is the host or hosts, and you'll gravitate towards topics and hosts that you like more than the approach that they take. The most complicated aspect of answering the question, what is a podcast, and where many people get confused, is in the difference between a simple audio file and a full-blown podcast. The simplest explanation is that an audio file and a podcast episode are technically the same. If you've downloaded a podcast episode from a podcast site, you've already discovered the fact that you're just downloading an audio file. The difference comes when you add the option to subscribe to that series of audio files. So if you use a podcast hosting service to allow people to subscribe to your series of audio recordings, then you've suddenly turned them from a simple audio file into a fully functional podcast. They're still just audio files, but alongside the subscription, you can now call them a podcast too. The subscription aspect is done for you automatically if you use a good podcast hosting company, but you might want to know a little bit about how it works. It's run through a technology called RSS, that's the tricky bit, and it's just a computer language that lets your podcasting software talk to a podcasting website. This has been part one, What is a Podcast, of the podcast, the series. Next will be how to listen to a podcast. I'm Hewie Poplock. Thanks for joining.
It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. You know, as a physician, when working in the hospital, I had to make split-second life-saving decisions. This last week, when I noticed my Pixel 3 had a swollen battery, I had to make a very quick life-saving decision. Yes, I'm okay. There was no fire. There was no explosion. And my house didn't burn down. But it could have. And today I want to tell you what you should do if you have a swollen cell phone battery. 3 things that you need to know to stay safe. Let's get on with it. Now you know the routine. If you like this video, please click the like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. Now in this picture, you'll see my swollen Pixel 3 phone. Again, please stay watching till the end of the video, and I'm going to tell you 3 things that you need to know to keep you and your family safe when using a lithium-ion battery. Let's look at the history of my Pixel 3 cell phone. I purchased it from Google Fi in November 2018. Google Fi is the cell phone wing of Google, so I purchased it right from the source. I purchased it and quickly got a protective case cover for it, and it has never been dropped. I use it a lot, and it's charged by my bedside. It's charged with a Pixel wireless charging stand. The important thing for you to know is that my phone was working just fine. I had no idea that this disaster was about to occur. But there were some clues. Let's look at some of them. About 2 months ago, I noticed that the volume control on the right side of the phone didn't work. Now, this was most annoying, particularly in the morning when I often listened to podcasts, and I had to manually go in and set the volume level to listen to podcasts. I took the phone out of the case, and the volume control started to work again. Well, I put it back in the case and thought it's another challenge, and I'd look at that later, which I never did. The phone stayed charged, and I really had no problem with it, although it did seem excessively hot when I used it for duo calls with my friends. My plan was to continue with using the phone and purchase a Pixel 6 this October. I sort of knew it would probably be reaching the end of its life now, but really had no clue what was about to happen. Now, last Saturday morning, I was listening to a friend of mine tell a long story. We were at a table, and I put my cell phone on the table and was fidgeting a bit. And when I looked at my cell phone, I noticed a couple of things. And the first thing that struck me was it didn't fit in the case properly. And if you look on the right side at the top of the picture, you will see that, in fact, the cell phone is not fitting in the case properly as it is at the other end. Now, if you look at the picture at the bottom of your screen, you'll see my cell phone. It is not fitting in the case. You can actually see on close inspection that there is a little bit of a bulge there. The other thing that you can't see is the phone didn't sit flat on the table in the case. So there's a couple of clues here that would make you suspicious, and it did, and that is how I discovered this. But the point that I'm making here is that the case will often conceal the swelling. And if you look at the picture at the top, the problem is obvious. You'll see that the back of the phone is quite swollen, and you'll start to see that the battery cover is coming off. And this became very apparent when I took the phone out of the case. Now, the other thing that you should know is that in some phones, the battery is at the back of the phone. And this makes it very difficult to see the problem when it's in a cell phone case. And that was certainly the case with my Pixel 3. Now, in the bottom diagram, this is an iPhone that has a swollen battery. It's much easier to see because the swelling occurs at the front of the phone and wouldn't necessarily be hidden by the case. So remember, some phones have the battery in the front, some have the battery in the back. Well, what explodes? Well, phones don't explode, but lithium-ion batteries do. Explosions, fire, and personal injury are all on the increase as we use more lithium-ion batteries. Remember, lithium-ion batteries create intense heat with the fire and are not extinguishable by water. Fires often occur while charging. And remember, I'm not singling out my Pixel 3 as a big problem because all phones are susceptible to this. In fact, there were 20 phones ahead of mine when I was getting a new battery put in of all makes and models. So why does this happen? If you look at the picture in the bottom left, you'll see my swollen lithium battery and what a normal lithium-ion battery should look like. If you turn my battery on its side, you'll see that in fact you can see how swollen it was. Each battery has different electrodes and the charging speed may be too fast. The chip on the phone that monitors the charging level can fail. The battery can be damaged with a fall, or it may be a manufacturing problem with the actual battery. Let's talk more about that. Now in the next slide, I'm going to show you some examples of fires that occur with lithium-ion batteries. On the left side, you'll see my swollen battery. Now, wouldn't it just be interesting just to put a knife in that and see what is inside? Let's see what happens if you did that. Watch the picture on the bottom right. Fire, explosion, and injury. Yes. Let's have a look at the next view. Now I want you to pay close attention to this next video clip. It's at a cell phone counter and someone is looking at a battery. And watch what happens. It happens very quickly. Yes, I'm sure there was serious injury. Now let's look at the next slide. You'll see in this picture, you'll see a lady who has a cell phone in her purse. This is going to explode. I want you to watch and see what happens. Now, can you imagine what would happen if she had that phone up against her ear or under her pillow at night? It is amazing the power of that explosion and the intensity of the heat. All right, now let's look at a cell phone that's just charging and see what happens. Quite an explosion. This summer has had record heat waves. This makes the inside of your car very, very hot. One of the tips you can have is just don't leave your cell phone charging in your car. This can have big consequences for your battery. Heat is not a friend of your battery and will lead to what you've seen in the video previously. Conversely, many of you don't remember, but it actually gets cold in this world and freezes. Remember snow? Remember that concept of snow, freezing and frost? Well, freezing your battery can equally be a problem. So again, treat your phone with care. Don't leave it in the car. Don't leave it in extremely hot conditions and don't let it freeze. Now my recommendations, and we'll get to the 3 tips in just a minute. If your battery is hot, unplug it and let it cool down. Don't buy cheap or unreliable chargers. This is often a big problem and a cause of these battery explosions. Don't buy cheap batteries and attempt to fix them yourself. Most of the battery failures that you saw in the video today were batteries that were put in as an aftermarket battery selection. This can be disastrous. Do not put these phones under your pillow. Again, that can be really a bad situation. If your battery is losing power, see an authorized dealer and don't carry your phone or your power bank in your back pocket. 2 things can happen. You can sit on it and it can deform and bend the battery, causing a puncture, and of course you saw the problem that could have. And also, sitting on your bum, it causes a lot of heat. And again, this is bad for your battery. Okay, let's get to my 3 recommendations. Take your phone out of the case and inspect it once a month. Lay it on a table. See if it lays flat. Look at it sideways. I missed the clue on my cell phone. So it's important that you do this once a month, or if you have any problems with your cell phone, do it more frequently. Once you identify a swollen battery, get immediate help. This potentially is a very serious problem, and you should not charge the phone again once you have identified a swollen battery. The battery has a potential of fire and explosion, which could cause serious injury and burns to yourself, or even burn your house down with loss of life. If you do purchase a new phone, please make sure you don't put the phone in a drawer and just leave it. Once that battery is swollen, it is a potential bomb. You need to have that safely disposed of. And last, the third recommendation is never attempt to change the battery yourself. This is a very dangerous situation, and please leave this to a reputable, certified expert. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Thanks for watching. Please remember the like and subscribe. If you like the video, click the like, and if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe.